Greetings, everyone. Once again, Pastor Carlos, we're going to finish up chapter 2 of the book of Revelation. Remember, this is the message that Jesus sent to the church in Thyatira, and we've spoken about all the verses, and we're down now to the last three verses. I'll read those. I'm going to read the verse 26. I'll read the last four, where Jesus says, "To him who overcomes and does my will, to the end I will give authority over the nations. He will rule them with an iron scepter. He will dash them like pieces of pottery. Just as I have received authority from my Father, I will also give him the morning star. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches." So remember, Jesus is talking about those who have overcome and who are living for him. He's going to give them authority over nations. And then he goes on to say that they will rule with an iron scepter. I wanted to just say a minute about that word rule. If you were to go to the book of St. John, the book of John, chapter 10, verses 11 and 14, Jesus says, "I am the good shepherd." My friends, that word shepherd in the Greek is the same word that's used here for the word rule. It's not a noun as it is in chapter 10 of the book of John, but he is saying here that he will be shepherding them with an iron scepter. And of course, when we think of a shepherd and we think of Jesus being a good shepherd, we think of his love and his kindness. But as we've noted before, and as we've talked before, there is a time coming, and it's there in the book of Revelations, Revelation, not Revelations, in the book of Revelation and in other areas of the Bible, where Jesus is going to come upon those who do not believe in him, and it's going to get kind of ugly. And so we see him talking about that. He's going to dash them like pieces of poverty. And he says, just as he's received this authority from his Father. So again, Jesus is humble. He's not claiming that he is the all-powerful. He's claiming that he is the good shepherd. And he's received this authority from his Father, our God and Father. And then in verse 8, he says, verse 28, he says, "I will also give him the morning star." That overcomer is going to get the morning star. Well, what's the morning star? Well, there's two or three possibilities that commentators talk about. First of all, that morning star was something that was probably known to the original readers, because in those days, people who were not Christians and who worshiped other gods, they would give homage, they would worship the morning star if they were triumphant or victorious over something. It was something the Roman soldiers did frequently. So these people understood what it was about the morning star. But also some people say that maybe this morning star is just a symbol of Jesus' resurrection, because that was a victorious event as well. But my friends, I really think that Revelation chapter 22, verse 16, where it says that Jesus is the morning star. I really believe that when Jesus says that he's going to give them the morning star, he's saying he's given them himself. In that new heavens and that new earth that we see in chapters 21 and 22, Jesus will be at the center. His presence will be with us. He will be the morning star. And then he ends in verse 29 by saying kind of what he said in all of the other verses, all of the other letters. He has said, "He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches." Two things just in those few words. First of all, and we remember that these letters were written to the churches, but also in this verse, and Jesus ends all of these letters with something very similar in saying, "He who has an ear." That brings it from the churches down to you and me personally, down to those believers who receive this letter personally. This message is to the church as a whole, but it's also a message that I need to take to heart. And then uh, he just simply closes by saying that we're, as I've already said, that he who has an ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Again, from the churches to you and I. So, my friend, the challenge is today, are we living in accordance with what Jesus has taught us throughout the Holy Scriptures? Are we following him? Are we living so the world knows that we love our Savior? It's a good challenge for all of us. Bye. God bless. We're going to be starting in chapter 3 in the next videos. God bless for now.